Why the F does it feel like everyone around you is swimming in cash while you're over here counting pennies like a medieval peasant? You open Instagram, bam, your buddy Chad is in Bali sipping on some neon-colored cocktail. Meanwhile, your fridge has half a bottle of ketchup and questionable leftovers from last week. You walk into work and Karen from HR is talking about her new investment property. You're just trying to figure out if you can afford extra guac at Chipotle without overdrafting. Here's the kicker. Statistically, a ton of these so-called rich people you see are broke as F. They just know how to swipe the plastic and flex harder than a bodybuilder on creatine. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm Peter, your host here at Peter Finance, and unlike those boring, monotone finance robots on YouTube, I'm here to drop actual numbers, break down real stats from places like the Federal Reserve and the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and yeah, occasionally roast the living out of dumb money habits. Because let's be real, if you wanted to be bored to death, you'd already be watching C-SPAN. So hit that subscribe button before you blow another paycheck on DoorDash and pretend it wasn't that much. Trust me, you'll want to stick around. Now, let's talk about why it looks like everyone's rich except you. Spoiler alert, it's not because they're financial geniuses. According to the Federal Reserve's most recent survey of consumer finances, the median American household has around $27,000 in savings. Sounds decent, right? Until you realize that's not the average, it's the middle, meaning half of households have less than that and a scary chunk have less than $1,000 ready to go. In fact, Bankrate reported that 57% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency without borrowing. So why does Karen from HR look like she's rolling in dough? Because she financed that Lexus. The average new car payment in 2024 is about $750 per month, according to Experian. You think Karen dropped $60K in cash? Nah, she just signed up to be a debt donkey for the next 6 years. Meanwhile, your boy Chad, he's not paying for Bali with passive income. He's racking up credit card debt that grows faster than his six-pack selfies. The Federal Reserve says the average credit card balance right now is around $6,501, and the average interest rate is above 20%. That's like lighting your paycheck on fire and calling it financial freedom. But here's the real twist. Part of why you feel poorer than everyone else isn't just Instagram flex culture, it's math. Your brain compares lifestyles, not bank accounts. You see Karen's car, Chad's trip, your cousin's new house, and you assume they're winning the money game. But what you don't see is their debt, their payments, their stress. It's like looking at someone's highlight reel without watching the bloopers. Let's zoom out with some hard numbers. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average U.S. household income is about $74,000 per year before taxes. After taxes, depending on your state, that drops to around $60,000. Sounds okay, right? But then the BLS also reports that the average household spends $72,967 per year. Let me repeat that slowly for the people in the back. The average household makes $74K and spends almost $73K. That's like making $10 and immediately spending $9.80. Bro, that's not wealth, that's paycheck to paycheck with a side of delusion. Here's where it gets worse. Housing costs are eating people alive. The Census Bureau shows the median monthly rent in the U.S. has shot up to around $1,400. And in big cities like New York or LA, double that. Add utilities, groceries. Thanks to inflation, those eggs are basically luxury items. Car payments and health insurance. And boom, that $60K after taxes starts looking more like monopoly money. So no, you're not actually falling behind compared to everyone else. Most people are just masters of the illusion of wealth. They lease the car, finance the furniture, swipe the credit card for the vacation, and then post a photo like they're living their best life. And here's where I'm about to piss some people off. If you're constantly comparing yourself to that lifestyle, you're playing the wrong game. That's like showing up to a chess tournament and trying to play Uno. The goal isn't to look rich, it's to be rich. And the stats say most people aren't. But before we get deeper into the math breakdown, let me drop a relatable scenario on you. Imagine you're at a barbecue. One dude pulls up in a Tesla, another talks about their investment property, and you're thinking, damn, I'm behind. But let's do some napkin math here. That Tesla, even the cheapest Model 3 costs about $40,000. With average loan terms, that's easily $650 per month. The investment property, odds are it's leveraged to the hilt with the mortgage, insurance, and surprise maintenance costs. Translation, he's not making bank, he's stressing about tenants clogging toilets at 2 a.m. Meanwhile, you, with your reliable 2010 Honda Civic that's paid off, might actually be winning long-term because you're not buried under car payments. That barbecue flex, it's a smokescreen. Now, don't get me wrong, there are genuinely wealthy people. There are folks stacking six-figure salaries, investing in the market, and building assets, but they're the minority. Most of the rich you see around you are living in what I call the debt Disneyland. Looks magical, but under the surface, Mickey Mouse is broke. So the real question we'll answer in this video is simple. How do you stop feeling like the broke background character in everyone else's success story and start playing the actual wealth game? We're going to break down the psychology, the math, and the moves you can make so you stop being the dollar menu Dave in your friend group and start stacking real assets. But before that, smash that like button before your Wi-Fi gets cut off for billing issues. Let's go deeper. All right, let's start ripping the Band-Aid off with some actual math. Don't worry, I'll make it simple enough so even credit card Carl can follow along. Remember how I said the average household income after taxes is around $60,000? Cool. Let's divide that by 12 months. That's $5,000 per month. Seems decent, right? Well, let's see how fast it evaporates. Rent or mortgage? Let's be conservative and say $1,500. In New York or LA, that number is laughably low. That's basically closet with a window money. Car payment? Average is $750, but let's be generous and say $600. Groceries? Thanks to inflation, average for a family is around $975 according to the USDA. Let's round that to $1,000. Utilities and internet? Call it $300. Health insurance? Easily $400 to $500 a month. Let's average it at $450. Random subscriptions you forgot you signed up for? Netflix, Spotify, OnlyFans, looking at you, Simp Steve? Call it $50. Gas and transportation? About $250. Eating out, takeout, Uber Eats when you're too lazy to cook? Easy $300. Now let's total this up. $1,500 plus $600 plus $1,000 plus $300 plus $450 plus $50 plus $250 plus $300. That's $4,450. So from that $5,000 monthly take-home, you've got about $550 left. That's before emergencies, vacations, birthdays, replacing the car tires, or Karen roping you into another $40 brunch. And people wonder why their savings account looks like tumbleweeds rolling through. Here's the comparison game. On one side, you've got average broke Bob. He takes that leftover $550 and what does he do? Spends it. New shoes, random Amazon orders, maybe a weekend trip to Vegas because YOLO. Then he posts it online so he looks rich. His net worth, though? Basically zero, maybe negative. On the other side, let's talk about smart investor Sarah, saying $550 left over. But instead of torching it on dumb, she throws it into investments. Let's keep it basic. Index funds with an average annual return of 8%, which is historically accurate, according to the S&P 500 over the last 50 years. $550 a month invested for 20 years at 8% equals roughly $325,000. Same income, same expenses. The difference? Bob looks rich for the weekend, Sarah is rich for life. This is why you feel poorer than everyone else. It's not just about what people make, it's about what they do with it. Let's zoom out again with real data. The Federal Reserve says the median net worth of Americans under age 35 is just $13,900. Meanwhile, the median net worth for those between 55 and 64 is $212,500. You know what that tells me? Time plus investing equals wealth. But if you're busy being debt Disneyland Mickey, you'll never get there. And before you say, well, Peter, $550 a month isn't realistic for me. Yeah, no, that's the average. If your situation is tighter, it just means you need to cut out dumb faster. For example, average American spends $1,200 a year on coffee shops. That's $100 a month for lattes you could have made at home.
average household spends $3,600 a year on eating out. That's $300 a month to have someone else burn your chicken. Subscription creep is real. The average person pays for 4 different streaming services. That's another $40 to $60 gone monthly. Add those 3 up and you're looking at nearly $450 a month in stuff you probably wouldn't miss. Boom, you just funded your investment account without even getting a raise. Now let's play the comparison game at scale. Broke lifestyle math. Income, $5,000 a month. Expenses, $4,450 a month. Leftover, $550 turn into spending on random. Net worth after 20 years, basically zero. Smart lifestyle math. Income $5,000 a month, expenses $4,450 a month, leftover $550 invested. Net worth after 20 years, around $325,000. But let's take it further. Suppose instead of just investing the leftover scraps, you build a side hustle that adds another $500 a month. Invest that too. That's $1,050 a month invested for 20 years equals over $620,000. That's the difference between still stressing about rent in your 40s versus retiring early with a fat cushion. Here's another brutal stat from the Federal Reserve. The top 10% of households own nearly 70% of all wealth in America. Want to know why? Because they're stacking assets, not flexing liabilities. The middle class? They're buried under mortgages, car loans, and credit card debt. In fact, Experian reports the average household debt is over $100,000. So when your cousin posts their new kitchen remodel on TikTok, just know, odds are they didn't pay cash. They swiped a HELOC, and now they're married to another monthly payment. Looks bougie, feels broke. Meanwhile, the actual wealthy people, the quiet ones, aren't flashing their lifestyle. They're buying rental properties that cash flow, loading up on index funds, and stacking dividend stocks. Their Instagram? Probably just pictures of their dog. But their bank account? Quietly obese. Here's the mindset shift. Stop comparing lifestyles and start comparing net worth. If Chad's rocking a Tesla but his net worth is negative $20K, who cares? You with your used Corolla and $10K in investments are actually ahead. You're richer. Doesn't feel that way, but math doesn't lie. It's like this. Lifestyle equals not wealth. Flex equals not freedom. Debt equals not success. The game you need to play is assets minus liabilities equals net worth. Period. Everything else is noise. Let me slap you with one last example. Imagine 2 25-year-olds, flexing Frankie, buys a $50K car with a $600 payment, vacations on credit cards, post it all online, net worth at 35, still negative, drowning in debt. Investing Irene, buys a $10K used car, throws $500 a month into the S&P 500. At 35, she's sitting on over $90,000 invested. Net worth positive, compound interest starting to snowball. Who looks richer? Frankie. Who is richer? Irene. This is why you feel broke compared to everyone else. It's not comparing their short-term flex to your long-term grind. It's like comparing a firework to a nuclear reactor. One's flashy for 10 seconds, the other powers cities.
So here's the truth bomb. Most people are financial toddlers. They want candy now, even if it means crying later. If you want to stop feeling like you're falling behind, you need to graduate to the adult table. Invest. Save. Stop caring about Chad's Bali trip. In 10 years, you'll be sipping cocktails every damn day if you play it right. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Money isn't just math, it's psychology. That feeling that everyone is richer than me, that's your brain falling for a financial optical illusion. It's like when you're scrolling Instagram and see fitness models. You think, damn, I look like a potato. But guess what? Half those pictures are edited, filtered, and shot under perfect lighting. Same with money. You're comparing your behind the scenes to other people's highlight reel. There's a term for this, affluence bias. Your brain notices the people who look wealthy because it stands out. You don't notice the folks quietly stacking money because they're not broadcasting it. It's the same reason you think everyone owns a Tesla now. Nope, it's like 1.2% of cars on the road, but they're loud, shiny, and your brain locks onto it. Let's get even deeper. Why do people flex in the first place? Simple. Status. Humans have been peacocking since the caveman days. Back then, it was look at my bigger spear. Now, it's look at my bigger iPhone. The game hasn't changed, just the props. But here's the irony. Chasing status through spending usually kills your financial status long term. Think about it. Who's more powerful?
broke Brad with a BMW payment, or quiet Quentin with $200K invested in index funds. Brad looks cool at stoplights, Quentin owns his time. Brad's flexing for strangers, Quentin is building generational wealth. This is the psychological trap most people fall into. They confuse income with wealth. Big difference. Income is how much money flows in. Wealth is how much sticks. You can earn $200K a year and still be broke if you spend $210K. On the flip side, you can earn $60K and get rich if you save and invest aggressively. According to a 2022 Charles Schwab survey, 63% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, even some earning over $100,000 a year. That stat blows people's minds, but it makes sense when you realize lifestyle creep eats everything. Make $60K, spend $60K. Get a raise to $80K, now you spend $80K. Congratulations, you leveled up your Netflix plan and bought slightly fancier, but your savings didn't move. This is why you can't trust appearances. Your coworker with the Gucci belt might not have $500 in their checking account. Meanwhile, the quiet IT guy in Costco jeans might be sitting on a $400K retirement account. Now let's talk about why you feel behind. Social media. It's a highlight reel, not reality. People post the new car, not the debt statement. They share the vacation, not the credit card bill. Comparison trap. You compare your daily grind to someone else's one-time flex. You're stacking groceries into your cart, they're stacking likes on Instagram. No visibility into net worth. You don't actually know what people own. You only see what they spend. It's like judging a movie by the trailer. Flashy, but missing the real story. Here's what I want you to tattoo on your brain. Wealth is invisible. Debt is flashy. If you're seeing it, chances are it's financed. If you're not seeing it, that's where the money really is. Let's do another math gut punch. Suppose you blow $200 a month keeping up with your rich-looking friends. Clothes, dinners, nights out. That's $2,400 a year. Invest that for 30 years at 8% returns, over $295,000. Yeah, you basically traded a lifetime $250,000 for cocktails and sneakers. Congrats, you played yourself. Meanwhile, the guy who skipped the flexing, he's not fun at the party, but he retires 15 years earlier. Pick your poison. So, how do you flip the script? Here's the playbook. Track your net worth. Stop obsessing over your income. Open a spreadsheet, write down assets minus liabilities, and update it monthly. That number is your real score. Kill lifestyle creep. When you get a raise, pretend you didn't. Bank the difference. That's how you actually level up. Invest early and often. Doesn't matter if it's $100 a month or $1,000 a month. Time is the cheat code. Stop flexing. Nobody cares about your car. Seriously, half the people who see it are broke too, and the other half don't give up. Redefine rich. Being rich isn't driving a Mercedes. It's having the freedom to quit your job, travel when you want, and sleep at night without stressing about bills. So, next time you feel like everyone's richer than me, remind yourself, 70% of Americans don't even have $1,000 saved. That Instagram vacation? Debt. That BMW? Loan. That remodel? Credit. The real flex is having money nobody sees. And if you want to stop being the broke character in someone else's highlight reel, here's the hard truth. It's discipline, not income, that builds wealth. Be the boring investor now so you can be the quiet millionaire later. Final call to action. Stop scrolling at other people's fake rich lives and start stacking your own. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this with a friend who keeps buying $8 lattes but complains about rent. Remember, wealth is built, not bought. Don't play their game, play the long one. I'm Peter Finance. Stay smart, stay savage, and I'll see you in the next one.